absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so to let the people in charge, the government, have the least amount of power to decide how you and I can live our lives moving forward is, to me, the optimal way to go. Obviously, they need some power to do certain things, right? Like build roads and fire departments and police departments and like military for protection and things of that nature. But as far as telling like you and I what we can and can't wear or say, what to me that's none of their concern. That's up to the individual to educate themselves on it, and if they don't, up to their surrounding circle of friends or society to say, hey, don't do that because of XYZ reasons. And so the reason I think when we get into super long term discussions or like super long discussions about like what should be done about this and that, I think that might also be, I would say, for example, I would say, hey, who cares if they wear that? And you would say like, well, they shouldn't wear it because of XYZ. And I'm like, I agree, but I don't think the government can tell them to not wear it.
Exactly. Especially in a free democracy as America. And I think the fact that our country as a democracy in itself kind of plays a role in a lot of some of the societal things that we have wrong, because you're going to have people who are not alike. It's not a strict controlled regime. I had a friend who's visited China before. And when you try and you can't speak any dissent against the Chinese government. For one, they have incredible surveillance. So if you're seen on video or you're heard if you're an important person and you're heard saying it, there's going to be repercussions. So there is no dissent against the Chinese government when you're there. So they can do whatever they want. There's no problem. The citizens aren't going to say anything. But for here in America, if the government does things that the people don't like, it becomes an issue. Look at the issues of race today. Look at the issue of climate change. When the government is in control and they are just doing what they think either benefits them more than likely, because there is no benefit to the people they represent, honestly, with a lot of decisions and stuff that they pass. So then they say, this is what people want. This is good for the country. But like 3/4 of the country or 2/3 of the country is like, no, we don't want this. This is harming us. But then the people in control continue to do that. It looks as if the system is messed up. It looks like it is at that point.
It is. But so that's why they need the power. Like we need to start peeling back how much power they have, because right now they're not accountable to the people, which is who they're supposed to be accountable for or accountable to, because we elect them to do. So like, this is how it looks to me anyways, for why they set it up the way they did. It's like, because you wouldn't want in like a pure democracy, when you can have like pure majority rules, like you and I both know that if it was pure democracy, you have a bunch of people voting on stuff that they have no idea anything about, and that wouldn't be good either. And so the idea was that you would have
representatives,
qualified people that you can say that are supposed to act in the best interests of you, and you elect them to do that because you agree with what they stand for or whatever. And then if you don't like what they do, then you vote them out and you vote somebody else in. That, and also it's like you're serving your constituents. So now that that's not happening, that's broken, one. But two, the other thing that I think gets lost on a lot of people is I feel like it was set up in a way, the architecture of the government and like checks and balances and stuff was to protect the rights of someone, of us as people, to say and do kind of what we want, and to let society do the like the third branch, like the third individual society government. Let society and the individual take the responsibility, because they knew that having government control those things isn't a good idea, because to legislate something you have to define it. And then to define it, well, who gets to define that thing?
Who gets to define it? Whoever's in power, whoever's in majority.
Right, and that's not what you want. So we weren't set up to be some perfect, harmonious like society. We were set up to be able to be free, essentially, and well, that didn't work out for like black people in the beginning, for obviously. That's kind of what it was set up to do. And so now once you get into like the issues that we have, like that we were just talking about you're wearing a Confederate, or somebody's wearing a Confederate flag, it's like, that's why for me, I'm like, they should be allowed to do that by law, but morally it's not a good idea. And so like we were talking about the first time, it's like not all laws are moral and not all morals are laws. And that's the reason why I think anyways.
And you make a good point, and I guess that kind of goes back to the idea of what America is intended to be. Like in some countries, you know, think about, well, I won't say that, but again, going back to the China thing, let's say they were in the shoes of Germany. You couldn't go out and just wear some swastika. The government would then it would act. Mm-hmm. So in America, you're free to do that. Will it look bad for you societally in your community trying to get a job? Yeah, but the law can't say you can't go and do that. You have to use your own judgment, even outside of morals, just outside of what the real world repercussions are going to be. The government could do this. Job might not hire you. Your friends probably won't talk to you no more. You might, like, these things will happen, and that's been delegated to the people of, you know, we kind of decide what is societally right and leave it up to us.
Right. I think that's how it should be. I don't. Do you agree with that, or?
Yeah. I mean, the idea of what America was supposed to be, like this, there's not been another society created the way America was created. Like the idea of what America was supposed to be. Like